Christopher Owens.
Lee McLoughlin.
I would help out on Saturdays. I mean, I started off, I was just basically a customer. I would come in just buying whatever tickled my fancy, whether it be punk, post-punk, heavy metal, and then as my tastes varied, sort of diversified, I started to become more involved with the shop, just like helping out and maybe saying, well, maybe try ordering this in.
Listening to music, I mean, since I was about 6 or 7, maybe younger. Collecting since I was 13, so I'm 26 now. And I'm not good at maths. By 13 years, yeah. Everything, pretty much, everything and anything that I could find, I've been collecting it.
It shows that, you know, major labels and major retailers like HMV, etc., don't have a monopoly on music, and it does offer a bright alternative, because there's stuff that, you know, either you couldn't find in shops like that for years, or if you did find it, they were usually about 15-20 quid. And normally, because of the way the ordering system normally works, we know how much these things should cost. So with Dragon, we've set out a policy where you try and sort of keep it a fair price as much as possible, because the last thing you want, you know, is get a reputation for being rip-offs, and then look what happens is the numbers decline greatly. I mean, look at HMV, for example.
To start with, I had turntables, and that's what I had the DJ with, so I got vinyl. That's what I went and bought. As it's progressed down the years now, it's been, you know, I use some digital means to DJ as well, but now there's a lot of things that I can get at digital or an MP3 that I can get on vinyl, and for those reasons alone. And it's always the special, you know, bits of music that you find that are always unavailable on the internet, but they are always available on vinyl, so you can get them through Discogs or in a record store like this here.
Firstly, an alternative, and also a greater back catalogue, because generally HMV places like that would only have gone for either big sellers, you know, things like Ziggy Stardust and all, which we all have, but we also have the rest of Bowie's back catalogue. We also have other, you know, things like Throb and Gristle LPs, which you wouldn't have been able to find for years. There's, you know, and also there's a big avenue for local artists as well. You know, they can just leave their stuff in, and then, you know, we'll happily sell it for them. And it's a bit of a two-way street, because obviously it shows that, you know, we do help greatly with the local scene here, and then bands, you know, can say, well, we've had our records sold in a record shop.
Today I'm mostly looking for sort of electronic music. A lot of the stuff that I play now in my sets would be more electronic based, house music, techno, anything from, say, the likes of Soma recordings to you know, old Chicago house records, things like that there. The tastes have sort of changed since I was younger, so it's a bit more dark and moody, and, you know, stuff like that.
A lot of it, I would say, have to be do with downloading, because a lot of people, you know, realise that, you know, downloading just doesn't cut the mustard for a lot of people. They want the physical product, whether it be vinyl or CD. And then once again, going into the likes of HMV, they were finding, you know, either there was a very small selection of vinyl, and what there was usually stupidly priced. Whereas a place like this, you know, you can find original pressings, you know, for not a terrible lot of money. And I think that has a lot of people, you know, enthralls a good lot of people, because there's something quite nice to this feeling that you have an original copy of something, so it was there at the time. So all these either memories that you have of a certain record, or, you know, maybe you've just discovered it, so you have all these sort of notions of what it must have been like to live in, say, the 60s, and you think, well, this record was actually about in the 60s, so you can almost smell history off it. I
was chatting to a taxi man this morning. He told me that apparently the sales of vinyl have gone up 60% in the last 6 months or something out there. Now, I mean, I don't really notice, because I've never stopped buying records, so it's always been consistent to me. It's always something that I've done.
You generally find with record shops, I suppose it's the same with most small businesses, you have a sort of core section of customers, maybe in one, for example, that you get to know after a while, so you know what they're sort of into, and then, you know, you can maybe recommend things to them that maybe they haven't heard but you think that they might like. And there's quite a nice feeling of, even if people come into the shop and you've never seen them before, maybe they've just discovered the place, or maybe they've dug out their turntable and think, oh, we'll go and get some vinyl, and you're playing something and they come up to you and say, like, what is that? And you say, that's, let's just say Current 93, for example, and they go, God, either I've never heard that, that sounds really good, or I remember having all those records back in the day, and then they go and get them. So it is a nice feeling. As for global community, I I would hate to see a room full of record fanatics. God, that would be the saddest convention in the world. But I suppose, if you put it all together, there's something that links a lot of record collectors together. It's this idea that they've been told for years, oh, vinyl is out, CDs are in, or downloads are in, or whatever, and they thought, no, the way I want to enjoy music is vinyl. I've always enjoyed it like that, and I will stick like that. Because for years, obviously, there was a big push, especially around the late 80s when CDs, had first come in, record companies weren't pressing as much vinyl. So there was this notion that vinyl was dying away. Of course, it never died away. It was actually dance music that kept vinyl going, because most of the releases going to clubs were 12s. And so as a result, it always just sort of, not stagnated, but it was at a sort of low production level. And then seemingly about 2005, 2006, after the whole Napster Kazaa thing, it just went through the roof again. Because I remember even going into one or two shops and they actually had new vinyl, like new 7-inches in 2006, and I think they were like £5 or £6, and even then I was going, what?
Yeah, it was Puerto Rico by Frankie Cutlass, an old hip hop record. I just really liked the record. I mean, there was nothing else to it. I played a lot of hip hop at the time, and I sort of just started DJing really, and that's what I was into. I was listening to loads of hip hop and came across this, and it was a great wee sort of party break record. And I thought, yeah, fantastic, I'll take that. And from there, that sparked off a collection.
I either had Bat Dance by Prince, the 7-inch, which is the within the realms of acceptability, or there's the utterly hip and fantastic Timmy Mallett's version of Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, which I saw recently was voted one of the worst records of all time. Can't say I agree with that at all. There's a bit of a Talking Heads vibe off it, which I like. Maybe not, I'm just trying to justify it. But there was those. I think it probably was the Timmy Mallett one first, but I seem to recall getting them at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be there should always be a place for a record store. It's a nice place to, a nice communal place where people can come and meet and, share a bit of knowledge and, have a laugh on a weekend. If you're free on a Saturday, or you have the opportunity to go buy records with your friends, it's great.
There's ways of approaching snobbery. Some people are utterly humourless about it, and people like that just need pushed downstairs generally while they're holding the records, whereas other people have a bit of a sense of humour about it. I mean, people have said I'm a snob, but I mean, I like to think I can joke about with people, so I've no problem with it. I know Jeff and Gary, the two guys who run the shop, Jeff especially can be considered a bit of a snob, but once again, he has a sense of humour about it, so if you laugh at him over his choice of music, then he'll not sulk, but it kind of will sulk. I'm not lying about that.